Take time to enjoy life. This is to enjoy yourself. Desiring to help others is good, yet you must come first, to yourself, as other people do to themselves. This is not selfish. This is self-love. From self-love can you then help others if you wish. To help from joy and love is to give the greatest of help. It is not about the amount of energy or time, but the type of energy, the sponsoring or generating energy. To help from duty or fatigue is to give or impart resentment from a negative energy base. This is how it will be transmitted. So how will it be received and interpreted? It is said that tide can wait for no man or woman, as if there are things that cannot be altered, set in stone like my explanation, for it cannot be otherwise. What you create comes from who you are, so be careful in thinking who you are. It is easy to slip into another frame of mind from which to create, so live in the full love of yourself all of the time. Love you without question and live within your joy. Often, joyousness is mistaken for happiness. Happiness being some measurable, heightened state of mind. Some may ask, "Are you happy?" As if to say, "Are you not unhappy?" As if there is a baseline and you are above or below it. Weigh up all the positives and negatives and see where you are. Being above it, does that give you happiness? Yet the most disturbing of all is you cannot decide on where the line shall be drawn. How happy do you have to be in order to be happy? So I would have said, are you joyous? You may think this is playing with words and interpretations, but it is to highlight your interpretation of self and experience. You can leave behind all experiences, not as if they were nothing, but as if they have no determination on who you are. Such tiny, fleeting pulses of experiences that you took too deeply to heart. Whereas now you can take to heart full the love of yourself. It is a feeling very different to happiness, or the escape from unhappiness. It is the joyousness of self, the place in which to reside and from which to create. However, all that I have said from my difference could be misinterpreted and made relative to the human condition, the collective matrix consciousness. That would be to look at joyousness through existing parameters and judgment. You would not see the joyousness in its true form, only a reflection of the matrix consciousness. Joyousness in joyousness. You have felt it at times. A detached attachment, being part of all around you, including pain and suffering. But it has no meaning because they exist in a different realm. Yet you are not avoiding, you are full conscious with your faculties. There is no need to accept that the experienced feelings are the determination of who you are. That what you sense or feel should become your internal feelings or state of being. I have talked much upon the subject of the differences between us, between the ways we think and feel. The closer you come to our way of thinking and being, the closer you come to us. It is a shift in consciousness. It is not about letting go of something. That is to give reference to experience, and it is determination of who you are or were. Of course you experience things, but they are only how you feel and interpret an event. Then, from these feelings, you often decide who you are, your worth and the amount of love you have for yourself. You observe and you believe you are what you interpret, not the misguided interpreter. However, when you feel experiences through joyousness, and wisdom, you will be free from determination of the self. It will be living in the love of self, very different to your now self. I have, you might think, laboured the point, spent much time saying the same thing in slightly different ways. Is that of importance? No, and not no. Joyousness has no part of importance. Consequently, neither can important nor unimportant reside in joyousness. Joyousness is your natural state of being. The love of yourself and the acceptance of it is your natural being. It is not a baseline. It cannot be made more or less of its fullness. Let us talk about self from this fullness position. It is not the same thing as ecstasy, which is some energetic high from a lower state of being. Is it rapture? As may be, but within your vocabulary, such words are tinged with interpretation from your collective consciousness. You wonder if you can be fully aware and thinking while in what you consider to be rapture. This interpretation yet again comes across as an altered state of being, not a natural state of being. You experience it from one state to another. Though it is within you, it is so different to your current interpretations of it. When you live within it, it is not something that you get used to, as if it was good but fades through time, or that there must be something more. There is no more. There is love of the self in fullness. What more can there be than that? I live within this state of being, even though I experience events and feelings. I experience them in a very different way to you. When I speak, does it matter if I am heard? No, not really, not in that sense. So I cannot be disappointed, not when I am filled with joyousness. Could I feel disappointed or other negative feelings? Yes, if I so wished. But what good would that do? What would it achieve? More to the point, what would that create within me? And then what should I speak from such feelings? This is not who I am. I speak from love of self. I shall not prostrate the love of myself to appear to help another by suffering as they do. In reality, that would be of no help to them or anyone else. It would only reflect their energy. Instead, I shine as me. So where does this leave you and others who try to comprehend my nature and my being? I do not fluctuate in the same way as you. I am steady within full love. I am speaking to you, as to myself. Orlaka has already explained about changing resultant energies in older timelines, including the one you reside upon. I am you having your experience. It could be said I was once your experience till I realized it was just an experience. Many more people are in touch with their spirit guides, and a few of them have the comprehension that their guides are themselves in multidimensional form. Orlaka explained it well in terms of resultant energies. That what was created could be changed to loving, creative energies. This does help in advance of the uplift. People are becoming more aware of their words in their minds, of internal guidance from their guides, more accepting that they are interacting and in contact with higher dimensional aspects. But if, without reference or explanation, I said there were no value to this contact, would they understand what I am referring to? You would have to know and accept that I cast aside any and every value and insert love in its place. Is that not good enough? Does love not exceed any value? Yes, there is love and contact, but it is guidance through self-love, which cannot be contained or restricted by value. Joyousness is beyond any value. Robert, it is not easy to see that you are me whilst your focus is as Robert. Your view of this you of me through the experience of Robert. However, as you live more and more within the joyousness, there becomes less and less separation. We will begin to speak the same words. The consciousness that I have becomes more manifest within your world. As this happens, you begin to lose sight of yourself. You become less and less the outcome of experience. You may have your body which is changing, but joyousness will become manifest. As I manifest in such a way, so we will begin to talk as one. For many, this may seem odd, as if you are being taken over or giving yourself up, perhaps to be consumed or assimilated, to imply some loss of freedom or loss of self-determination. Yet I remind all of what I said before. Your idea of freedom is an illusion formed within a world of chains. Please understand when I say, I am not free, and I do not seek it to your way of being. I am not free from myself. I am a part of everything, and it is a part of me. I am everything in the widest sense. So freedom does not even exist as a concept. It has no relevance. Your world has the illusory experience of being free or desiring to be free from pain and fear. To be free is to escape from yourself. Then you would not be yourself or your fullness. I love myself in fullness. So you are not free from me, and I am not free from myself. We are as one and the same. We are different perspectives becoming known. Others may listen to the words I give you. These might make sense to a few, to be perceived as encouragement, an inkling as to what lays ahead. Yet in the depths of their hearts will the fullness of these words be felt and known. For those more deeply connected to the matrix fear duality, such words would be seen as madness, ramblings of a fool detached from reality. That be their perspective, their experience, and then the experience becomes them and who they are. Experience is not you. It is merely a temporary point of focus. Live within the love of self, and let the love of self speak to you as if it is you, for it surely is.
How can we help others to see such things?
You cannot make anyone see what he or she does not want to turn from, or to see what they can be open for. To help, what is that? Are you now to decide upon that? To give value? Promote what is helpful or unhelpful? Do not seek to give value help through existing human ways. You ask, how can you help? Well, guidance without values may be useful, but unless people seek, nothing will be heard. Remember, they have their own guides and they experience what they wish. I would suggest you let go of the idea of helping, because that gives rise to measurement. Fully accept, once and for all, you can be of no help.
Wow, that's quite a release. I never realised I had such a sense of responsibility for other people. A responsibility that could never be fulfilled. When and how, would that be? It would be all tied in with measurement. Each person can only be responsible for himself or herself. And that is what others and I have been seeking freedom from. I am released from a burden of trying to help. Not being able to help should have no value system and no measurement of me. The need to seek growth or happiness in others, which I prized so much, has no value. The only thing that matters, though matters has no value, the only thing there is love of self. The need to do things disappears. So instead, I may express my thoughts, feelings of self, but the outcomes from that are of no consequence. There is no success, no failure, no way to measure love. It's just being open. The full love of self is the route to the love of all.
Indeed it is. Just love. Live within my love of you. We are one another. It was only a matter of awareness and your acceptance of self-love. All the words in your world fall short of explaining and expressing joyousness. Such cumbersome tools. It has taken you many years and much guidance to begin to fully understand the difference between us. To see the difference, you have to understand. But to know it, you have to be us and feel it that way. Now you are more able to feel like we do. Feeling us from your earthly feelings is not the same. Of course, if you lived in our collective consciousness, it would be easy. Now that you are getting a true sense of how we vibrate, you are closer to our way of being. Earlier, I talked of the place from which to create, from which to be or express. You will be expressing more of me, more like me, for I am your reality in joyousness.
But I have a tinge of embarrassment. I feel these words are all about me and perhaps I should not share them.
Am I blowing my trumpet or blowing yours? My truth is my truth. I would say it no other way. I have no sense of deference, nor of superiority. Not all that you say or express has to be an uplifting message for other people. What we talk of might be indifference to many, perhaps one drop of pleasure to just a handful. But what of it? That has no consequence. It is of no consequence, and you are of no consequence. You are love. All these things are shadows, cast by our light as we move around. Learn to express without reward and see that conflict is merely a resistance between thoughts. Speak as I do, and I shall speak as you, and all is well.